Now at 11, an update on a standoff between an armed man and Lexington police that shut down I-75 for hours. Plus, the Supreme Court today rejecting a challenge from Republican-controlled states to a horse racing safety law that's led to national medication and anti-doping rules. And reaction from state leaders on the 2-year anniversary of the overturning of Roe v. Wade.
ABC 36 News starts now.
Good evening and thank you for staying up late with us. I'm Paxton Boyd. Well, a man has been injured after allegedly shooting himself after an hours-long standoff with police in Lexington. The incident shutting down I-75 for hours earlier today. The negotiation coming to an end after the man reportedly shot himself. Now, these pictures of the incident captured by our traffic cameras this afternoon. Lexington police say it started around 9:40 this morning. Officials say the man did fire shots, but no one was hurt. The incident shutting down north and southbound lanes on I-75. Police say their crisis negotiation unit worked to de-escalate the situation. Authorities say the man is now in the hospital with life-threatening injuries from that self-inflicted gunshot wound. No officers fired any weapons. Now, one woman who lives near the area didn't want to go on camera, but was shaken by the incident.
I was frightened a little bit and concerned about the traffic and people standing out on the street. The man was probably at his wit's end and was just threatening to take his life. And of course, who would know whether he would try to take somebody else's life too? We wouldn't know that. So I just hope we'll never see anything like this again. I don't know whether I'll sleep tonight or not. I don't know. But I just have to live in hopes that this is the end of something like that, especially from out here, because this is a nice neighborhood.
I will continue to keep you updated as more details become available. But in the meantime, authorities say if you or someone you know is struggling with suicidal thoughts, you should dial 988. All right, checking in with our chief meteorologist, TG Shuck, on what's been a very comfortable start to the week, but some changes on the way, TG.
Yeah, absolutely, Paxton. It was good to get a break from all the heat and humidity. Of course, that frontal system that moved through yesterday with scattered showers and storms left a little bit of low-level moisture. Awesome shot this morning from Johnny Nicholson down in southern Kentucky. It's been a very, very quiet Monday. Really comfortable, warm, but low humidity levels. Our dew points super duper low, and just a really nice Monday evening, to say the least. Checking out Lake Cumberland, everything nice and quiet down there. It was a beautiful day to be on the lake. Temperatures across the area with the Kentucky Mesonet settling down into the mid to upper 60s with a few low 70s here in the Bluegrass. Same story down here into southern Kentucky, mainly into the mid 60s. I think we'll fall off a few more degrees as we head into early tomorrow morning. So we're going to start things out probably in the low 60s. That's just a few degrees below average for this time of the year. So out the door tomorrow morning, comfortable, but the big heat was sitting just to our west much of the day. Bowling Green, Paducah, Evansville, and points westward 90 plus. And we're going to head back that way tomorrow. Winds are going to shift around to the southwest, so that's going to open the door for the heat to return, but it's also going to bring some additional moisture up. So it is definitely going to feel very much like the end of June heading into the day tomorrow. We do have another frontal system coming our way. In fact, our weather pattern will get a little more active, it appears, as we roll through this final week of June and head toward July, believe it or not, a week from now. I'll tell you more about it in your 7-day forecast coming up.
Well, a former Boyle County Sheriff's deputy has been sentenced for using excessive force against people he was arresting. The Eastern Kentucky Department of Justice says Tanner Abbott was sentenced to 110 months in prison after being convicted of 5 felonies back in March. The trial showed at least 4 incidents in which Abbott was either unnecessarily aggressive and/or falsified records while on duty. The DOJ also determined Abbott obstructed justice by falsely testifying in his defense during his trial. A Lexington man arrested for murder, pleading not guilty in court this afternoon. 55-year-old Roger Wiley, who's accused of killing 57-year-old Charles McDowell, was in district court and submitted his plea. Wiley allegedly killed McDowell last Friday on Old Georgetown Street. Officers say McDowell died after a reported assault with a weapon. Wiley's now getting a newly assigned public defender. His bond remains at over $1 million. Well, police are investigating a shooting that happened just before midnight on 3rd Street in Lexington. Officers say the victim was driving when he heard a noise and then felt pain in his shoulder. He then drove home and called 911. He was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The search for a suspect continues. Well, days after a shooting outside of a West Louisville nightclub that left a person dead and 7 others injured, Metro Police believe they have a vehicle that could be connected to that crime. Metro Police have revealed details about the incident outside of the H2O Lounge on West Broadway early Saturday. Officers responding around 12:45 in the morning after shots were fired, hitting 8 people. Joseph Bowers from Indianapolis died from his injuries. Another man remains hospitalized in critical condition, while 6 others are expected to survive. Police believe a lone gunman fired from a light-colored Chevy Tahoe, possibly a 2007 to 2014 model. Authorities urge anyone with information to come forward to aid the investigation.
We know that somebody knows where this vehicle is. We are desperately trying to locate this vehicle because we believe it will help lead us to identifying a suspect in this case.
The H2O Lounge has temporarily closed during the police inquiry. Well, the Supreme Court today rejecting a challenge from Republican-controlled states to a horse racing safety law has led to national medication and anti-doping rules. The justices left in place an appeals court ruling that upheld the law and rejected claims that Congress gave too much power to the Horse Racing Integrity and Safety Authority, the private entity that administers the rules. The chairman of HISA's board of directors cited a 38% decline in equine fatalities for the first 3 months of the year and applauding the court's decision. Now, Kentucky Congressman Andy Barr releasing a statement on the Supreme Court decision, saying, as the co-author of HISA, I am committed to ensuring the integrity and safety of horse racing in the United States. This decision reinforces our efforts to establish national uniform standards to protect the welfare of our equine athletes and reinforce public confidence in the sport. Well, today marks 2 years since the Supreme Court Dobbs decision effectively overturned Roe v. Wade. The anniversary comes as the High Court considers another potentially monumental abortion case. It could rule any day now on whether a federal law mandating emergency care can override a state ban on the procedure. Meanwhile, the debate over the restrictions and protections continues on the state and federal levels. The Biden campaign says it's holding more than 50 events to rally supporters around the anniversary. The Women's March is calling for strikes in multiple states, but others celebrate the High Court's ruling. Governor Andy